This is part 2 to the reverse engineered video, so watch that first, otherwise this won't make any sense. So, anata no kage, anata no yami, and spoilers for the first 5 minutes of the movie, a heart-shaped soul gem. Yeah, baby! Doppel of Love, 15th Claro doll, confirmed. And the 95% of you who left the video and algorithmically ruined the video, you can all go fuck yourselves because you never listen to any theories that are interesting and only listen to the theories you like to listen. Now, let's proceed. What I will discuss in this video is first each scene that comes in this trailer, where exactly it is in the movie. And then I'm going to discuss how Walpurgis rises, and probably I will have to release the reason that Homura turned into devil, and it is never been even discussed before anywhere in this fandom. This is the first time. But first, a little bit of clarity from the previous movie video I did. So I saw people get really confused on which Homura is which. The Homura that looks like a Greek goddess and has a red hairband and partially red hair are both the real Homura. And also, I believe in the first day, school day of the 3-day cycle, Homura will also wear the brown headband, but will soon be replaced by the brown headband is going to be Walpurgis. Brown is the color of dirt, earth, or also the world, the tarot card. And on the color wheel, if you were to take away the dirtiness of the color of dirt, it would turn into gold, which is the heavens, Walpurgisnacht Rising. That is it. And the one with the curl in the hair, as you are seeing right now on the screen, and the one who is sitting atop the lizard phone and calling everyone is Doppel Homura. Now, allow me to say why each of these do anything they do and the intentions. The reason that Doppel Homura has the curl in her hair is because she hates Homura. She, like any other Clara doll, despises Homura and does not want to look similar. That is why she makes sure her hair color is slightly different and she curls the hair. But Walpurgis actually wants to look like Homura because she's trying to deceive everyone into falling into their plan. The real Homura, after the first day of the school, when she's hit by the call from the Doppel Homura, has to always be in the uniform because she's always witch hunting and green bitch hunting. Yeah, I'm still calling her Green Ho because it is very, very funny. I will keep the analysis on the first 5 minutes for the end of this video, so that if you don't want to see spoilers, you won't get spoiled. But let's now watch each trailer, and I will tell you what each second or frame of these trailers mean. The 2 new trailers that dropped after February, which is the date I dropped the previous video. So first, this first frame you've been looking at, it is simply the Doppel Homura checking whether Madoka is real or not. That is because Doppel Homura, as the one that controls the karma energy of this current world, is does know about Walpurgis and her morphing abilities. So she knows that Madoka can actually not be Madoka and be Walpurgis, which is why she checks the teeth. The teeth show which one is real and which one is not. Now, in the scene, we are seeing water dripping from her hair, which clearly is the fountain scene. It is, if I were to say the order, in the first day, Madoka and Sayaka are walking. On the other side is the real Homura that is not near them. And the real Homura gets news about the Green Ho and goes away, which is why Doppel Homura can come in and check out Madoka without any kind of Clara doll observing her. So let me drop this quickly because we need this to further understand. Let me go to the other trailer. So the one you're seeing right now, this scene specifically. So, first, now that we're here, I must as well tell it. If you look at it, it looks, Walpurgis upon the sun looks just like a black rose coming out of it. And not only that, if you really look better, it looks like a pocket watch. because Walpurgis is the gear of time. And you thought Homura is the one who is reverting time. I'm going to drop something really fucking cool for the rest of the movie at the end. So when you're looking at here, you think that Walpurgis is the one associated with gale and the wind. But I have something else to say. The actuality is that Walpurgisnacht, throughout the ages, had different elements associated with it. And I had not thought of this theory until exactly they dropped this in this trailer. You see, she's now related to flame and ground. In this frame, we see her in tornado that also holds water. There are fire everywhere, and there's some plants on the side of the screen. Here we see a steam, which is basically when you add an underwater explosion or otherwise a fire under the water. So here's the theory I posit, and I'm patenting this because last time I said every theory, everyone just stole them except Luca Magica, Ford Morero, Reddit user, and Yaoi Hole. And to the point, I'm pissed off because people are talking about Odile and Odette, the false marriage, as if it's their own theory. My guys, you don't deserve my theories at this point. But yes, so what I'm positing is that Walpurgisnacht is Avatar, the master of 5 elements. And these 5 elements are fire, water, earth, air, and plantation. And this makes sense when I say it like this. Homura, fire. Kyoko, fire. Mami, earth. Her OST is named Salve Terra Magica. And Nagisa is air because she uses bubbles. Greenho, water. Madoka, air because swan, feathers. And the Kuma, the Selma Teresa, I believe to be earth because we have 2 of all of the other elements except the earth. So maybe she's that. And obviously Walpurgisnacht as the amalgamation of the disparate doppels of every magical girl in that theater of that time is obviously Avatar, the master of 5 elements. And as for the plant, it's only Madokami. It's a very rare thing because plant requires an earth to grow in, water to feed it, carbon dioxide to start its Krebs cycle, and fire to not tear it apart, which Homura does. So now you realize why Walpurgis has fire breathing out of the air in the TV series, moves like a gale, but also in this scene we have a water over the air, which makes Walpurgis again master of all elements. So let's go back now. This is the scene at the first day, which Saika runs away from the hospital, but sees Homura stopping her to show her the Nazuka Sokotsune. And it can be Doppelhomura, but I believe more so to be Walpurgis, who is holding Saika's hand right now. Okay, regarding this scene, do you notice something? The green hoe is hiding whatever she's eating. And this made me notice something else. There is never any cake in front of her, which contrastly we see with Nagisa being served a parfait by the Selma Teresa. So as I predicted, very much the brainwash method is to make them eat cake, which is why Mommy is seen eating cake the most in these trailers, because she might as well be wearing donkey ears instead of bear ears. And the other girl is obviously Kyoko. Now, this as you can see in the back are the cage that resembles a light, but is actually has a bear inside of it. These ones. And as you can see, there are a bunch of maids in front, which makes sense. Maids make cake, make other amendments. And the bears on the pillars are hanging themselves while having a halo and 2 wings on the side of them, which obviously Madoka. But I will explain a little bit later. Also, the R's on the hats of them. People ask where are these from, and the closest thing I could find was Oran High School Host Club R. I also forgot to mention Madoka is plant because she's the Tree of Life Kabbalah. Madokami, I mean. And we can see some theorize that this is the equivalent of mommy that has now been hired into this host club. And the reason she looks like a robot from Psychopath is because Selma Teresa is from the future and Greenho is from the past. Which, as I said in my previous video, is why Nagisa and Saika are the ones who were brought to Homura's barrier, because they are the only ones from the present time. I really like this shot because it is the veil of the theater that almost looks like a Spanish hat. Which I find the idea of her being a conquistador coming to Homurayan villages to burn them very funny. So this thing lies in the afternoon of second day, because first day is a mommy brainwashing. And this one is probably at the night of the second day. Now on to next scene. So this, as people have told, is probably from the first 5 minutes of the movie, so I will talk about it later. Yeah, I'll leave all that is related to this girl at the end of the movie. Okay, so who is she calling exactly right now? This is the scene which she's talking to Homura right before Homura reaches the fake Madoka, which is Walpurgis, and is taunting her. Paralleled with the movie poster we saw of two Homuras facing each other. In this scene, we see the silhouette of two girls in a highlight of love and 7 squares atop of them, which is the number of completion. And I can almost hear the Kashira Kashira, Kujoni Kashira. And notice the pairings. The water girl is with fire Kyoko. The earth girl is with the air Nagisa. Also in this scene, people have told me like this is Alina Gray or something. No, this is the Greenho. And Greenho used to be the main secretary of Madoka before it all fell apart. And this scene belongs to the evening of the first day, because she's talking, as you can see, to nobody. So whenever somebody is talking to nobody, it is probably Kyubei and from the POV of Kyubei. And if we go a bit further, you can see that it almost looks like 2 red eyes and a cat-like mouth in the little. If you close your eyelids a bit and see it as a negative space, you can see it. Now, this statue itself is the full version of the brown-haired girl being reborn. It's from the hands of this statue that the girl is born. And as you can see, if you count the crystals on the ring, it amounts to 64. 25 on the outer ring, 21 in the insider ring, and 11 one-sided on the ring, which if you count twice, it becomes 22. So all in all, it becomes 64. So what this 64 foreshadows is obviously a game coming to Nintendo 64 next year. No, I'm kidding, but this 64 I will explain later. So what is this? What is this we are looking at? Well, simply if you take the hexagonal jewel in the middle out, it becomes 2 rings. For who? One for Kriemhild, one for Gretchen, or otherwise known as Walpurgis and Madoka, to marry each other and become the John Magica. We see a cat reflecting in its eyes the balloons. I will explain the balloons later. It has very much symbology to say about. So this scene, this is one of my minor mistakes. I have 2 minor mistakes and 1 major mistake in my previous video. The rest of it is 100% what is in the movie for. So the minor mistake I had is that I assumed that the wraiths would be, first of all, the wraith unleashed on Sayaka in the first day by the doppel, because the doppel can bypass the wraith system of the Kyubei and real Homura. And the second one being the one that the brown-haired girl falls into. But now that I see it, it's actually a third one too. I believe in the scene that Homura follows John Magica underground thinking it's the fake Madoka, and then she reveals herself and the Kyubei refuses to listen to Homura in terms of logicality. I believe in the last scene Homura just unleashes all the wraith upon the brown-haired girl for it to not reach Madoka. So yes, the third major wraith release is by the Homura itself, and this is what we are seeing, and this is why the belaying glasses, brown-haired girl is fighting these. And the left eye, Madoka's left eye. So eyes in Madoka. I believe the side of the eye you see represents the whether it is the left half of your brain or the right half of your brain. And the left part is connected to the right side, which is the emotions, because this is the current moment of love, and things are going to lead. So in the background on the right side, we have a Cube and the moon here. And here we have a salamander, and look at the theme. It's white, gray, and black. I'll tell you later. This is the not accepting of the apple of Kyoko. This is of the construction doppel with the phone that has constructed the karma system of this world. And in the background, this here I will tell later because there's a clearer scene of this picture. Now, up here, there's an eye and a gear. So, what is this? The eye clearly is Homura. Whenever she shows her eye, she's looking out the window. Which window? The window that got sealed of the law of cycle, because it's the window that brings her light and hope into the dark room of Homura's mind. And whenever she's looking with this eye, it's either observation or it's severe salvation. She wants to be saved. But if you look at the other one, the Walpurgis, it looks like an eye. If you see the two, it looks like an eye, and this has been shown before in the poster that Madoka and Homura are trying to touch hands. The background you see, the amphitheater exactly looks like an eye, and that is also the gear of Walpurgis. That is because also Walpurgis is also observing all of this, because this is all Walpurgis's theater. Now, you must ask yourself, why do the wraith look like cotton candy being stripped off them, and as if they are skinning the wraiths? That is because the wraiths, they are over. By now, the John Magica is flying towards the heaven, and the despair of the world is being released as the red blood upon the masses, which you see the Doppel Homura bathing in. And when this new system comes about, wraiths no longer matter, because they were the replacement of what the law of cycle was. And if the law of cycle itself changes, there are no longer any wraiths, and simply the despair will be dismantled upon the people of hell, otherwise known as editor's note. I just looked and I said by now John Magica will be flying. No, I meant in 10 minutes, which is why they are still being skinned. They are not fully finished yet. Okay, now in the audio of this trailer, you hear the Kuruna! And everyone thought of the simple way of thinking it, that Kuruna is the do not come. And that is correct, but there is a hidden meaning behind it. And it comes out of the verb kuru. Kuru kuru mawaru kimi no hitomi. Yeah. Basically, she's telling the Walpurgis, do not spin once more. She does not want to cycle again. That said, if you look at the lyrics of the Penguin Drum OP, you will see that it very much fits Madoka Magica. Like, the first OP, it's as if it's retelling a story of the fourth movie. If you're watching this video on like 29th of August, and you know already what happened. Now, this blood in the picture rising from underground. This underground was very much Nazuka Sokotsune, and the library is being torn apart by these blood particles and coming out, which as I said before, it's because Homura is stuck in there as Fafnir, the dragon that Siegfried, as the male figure, will slay. And since the elevator is broken, this is also the way that Homura comes out from the underground. And you saw me predict this trailer before it even came out. And this blood will pour upon the people, and Doppel Homura will bathe in it. And the thing is that, what is this blood? Well, other than being the blood of Fafnir, it is both tomato juice and pomegranate. Now, tomato is a bit simpler. Tomato is basically what you throw at bad actors. In Rebellion, the Clara dolls kept throwing tomatoes at Homura. And this is the result of her work. The mass amount of tomato juice that has gathered finally chokes her and drowns her. Not really drowns her, but symbolically drowns her. Like she, as I said before, does a shin, 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 and draws the 13th tarot card of death. Cool note is that if you look at the background color, you will see that it is bright. It's becoming bright, or the brightness is going out. So it's either dawn or dusk. I believe very much it will to be dawn of the May 1st, the day that Walpurgis rises. Now I will talk about the difference between Walpurgisnacht and the rise of Walpurgis. This is because Walpurgis is a saint and Walpurgisnacht is an event. And this is courtesy, let me credit where credit is due, Unbuttoned Yaoi. This person has actually, were the first one to see why did they just name it Walpurgis no Kaiten, not Walpurgisnacht no Kaiten. And I just took it from there and theorized about it until it became a full theory. So thank you very much, Unbuttoned Yo. Alright, wait, I forgot about pomegranate. Pomegranate is, first of all, what is a pomegranate? When you look at it, it is a fruit that has many seeds inside. And when it is gathered together, it looks like a crown at the top. Now, what we see in Madoka is not exactly a pomegranate, but rather a pomegranate made of tomatoes, which really reflects it well, because Walpurgis and also Law of Cycle is a bunch of gathered tomatoes together, which is bad actors. These bad actors become witches, and Law of Cycle stops them. And the other thing I saw is that people keep talking about tomato being related to Review Starlight. I haven't watched it. I don't know. Now, a pomegranate. In Persephone, Hades, and Underworld, it has something that is given to Persephone as a fruit of the Underworld, which makes many senses because Homura Akemi, by all means, at the end of this movie, is the ruler of Underworld. She's Hades, she is Satan, she is Set, the desert god, and what she also Ereshkigal. And other than it being something that is carried from the world of death in ancient Greece, there's also the thing with a fruit of Hera, which is childbirth. If you saw the Madoka Magica video before this, I said already, the movie is about love, bloodbath, and childbirth, because childbirth had a lot of blood in it. It is also connected to Aphrodite, which I analyzed before, how it is connected to Venus. And most importantly, Dionysus and blood. These mythology says that pomegranate grew from the blood of Dionysus, as you're seeing. And after he was torn apart by the Titans, which is, they will not exonerate her. And the thing with it is that it is simply about death that produces life. As I said, she reveals the tarot card 13 of death, which the tarot card 13 is the life that is born from death. But most importantly, the pomegranate is tied with Persian Zoroastrianism. And I read into this, and Persia seems to have really great mythology. I was really interested. So here, the pomegranate is about sacredness more than marriage and love. And even in Shahnameh, Esfandiar, the hero, eats a pomegranate and becomes invulnerable. And also lower Siavash, in tradition, the pomegranate goes from the blood of Siavash. So this invulnerability of Esfandiar is very parallelical to the how Siegfried, when Siegfried slept in the bloodbath of Fafnir, became nearly invulnerable except a single spot which was left, just like Achilles. And in Christianity, the pomegranate sometimes represents the blood of Christ, which, as I said, Madoka is going to disappear. Madoka is basically going to nearly die. It's not even the law of cycle of stopping being existing and existing as a concept. She's stopping existing altogether. She's stopped being anything at all. And in Islam, it is a fruit of the Garden of Paradise. Basically, pomegranate is about the crown. Tomato is the fruit of associated better with Homura, and pomegranate is one associated better with Madokami. As I said before, Madokami is the Ishtar and the goddess of fertility. I'm sorry I'm saying this. This is not my fault. This is Akiyuki Shimbo making a fucking anime. I do not condone such acts. But yeah, it is on Akiyuki Shimbo for associating 14-year-olds with fertility goddesses. But anyways, it is fertility. It is most importantly in Persia about marriage and sacredness of it. And it is also about life after death. And the only other thing I saw from about tomato is pomme d'amour. Tomato, when it came from Mesoamerica, it was considered at first to be a love apple, which is very interesting considering that double of love. So yeah, in that scene where we see a pomegranate being crushed by the hands, it is the hands of Madoka, and that symbolizes her not accepting the return of the law of cycle and returning to her role, which occurs on the afternoon of day 3 in the negotiation chamber with the Selma Teresa and Greenhoe. Now, that arrow you saw being shot, it was obviously shot from the Homura's bow that we see Kyubei bring. And he brings it to the brown-haired girl, so I will leave it to the spoiler part at the end of the video. This, from what I saw, meant Akame, red eye, which is the red eye of the doppel, which is why in all trailers, whenever we see Homura after fall, one of her eyes is covered, because that is the eye that has turned red. And this redness represents her taking the role of the survivor once again, which we all know is synonymous with suffering. Now, these talismans are purifying talismans in Buddhism, I believe. And they are just like as if saying, "Fuck you, demon! Fuck you, demon!" And I believe these to be written by Homura because she was trying to kill herself, or rather her doppel. And these falling means that the doppel simply succeeded. She made the Walpurgis and returned Homura into the cycle of suffering, and did the world in a way that the threads get even more complex, as her doppel description in Magi Record says. And these are obviously the hand of the wraiths, which the guy hands represent obviously the male figure of the series, Walpurgisnacht. And it is very funny for the amalgamation of magical girls to be a man, but it makes sense symbolically. Listen to this. Sekai no Hate, Akio, in the Utena, was a male figure, and the one who was suffering the most from the bad male dominant system. If you really rewatch Utena multiple times, you will realize that Akio is the one who's suffering the most, but is pretending to actually love it. It is the same with Walpurgisnacht. Walpurgisnacht is Sekai no Hate, the end of the world. And it is where all the movies until now have led to, because Walpurgisnacht is 3 things, as I dropped in 2022. It is a vessel, a time, and an event. So the vessel is the one who carries the will of Walpurgis, of amalgamation and holding things together. It is basically a wish that is off of a broad wish for salvation for everyone. Same thing happens with Kriemhild. People call it Kriemhild Gretchen. I believe Madoka to only be named Kriemhild. And this vessel has to have multiple personality notations, and one of it, which is you have to have absolutely no personality. Like people think they know Madoka, but you all don't. I'm gonna be honest. Madoka is the most complex written character of the whole series, and it takes some noticing to notice. But basically, who the fuck wishes for the salvation for the entirety of human race just for nothing, for themselves? The other noticing parts being a very small tidbits of character dialogue, which I cannot explore right now. I have no time. So these vessels are the pointers that all the other magical girls of the gear gather around, or rather than magical girls, let's call them doubles of despair, because they do not join Walpurgis either unless they are witches, or they are alive but they are ignoring their doubles, which makes the doubles join Walpurgis. Now, Walpurgis, the event, is a 1 hour video in itself. Walpurgis, the time is the May 1st. It's the 12 o'clock, exactly 12 o'clock of May 1st, or would that count as April 31st? I wouldn't know. But it is the time at which the broken happens and the witch grows in size, as we see with Kriemhild, all the timelines. And Brocken is a light illusion in which if you're at top of a mountain and you open your hands, you will just feel like Jesus, and there will be a bunch of rainbows around you. And this, as we can see, if you go back to Rebellion Madoka transformation scenes, it ends with a circle of rainbow, because rainbows are actually circles when you're not looking at the ground. They are never arcs, they are always circles in the air. And also Madoka, the word itself means circle. Now let's get into 8/8, tomorrow, of the date this video releases. 8/8 is the birthday of Gote, obviously, but also it showcases, as you saw in my YouTube short, it showcases the turning of one infinity to another, because Madoka's story is always stuck in a Mobius strip. What is Mobius strip? It is two circles attached together, basically. And one of these circles is obviously Madoka. Always it is Madoka. And the other Mobius strip is obviously Homura. In her transformation scene in Rebellion, at the end you see an 8 behind her. But this is not all. The other circle is also Walpurgis. So these are two rivals, love rivals in a love triangle, trying to beat each other up in order to get the position of being the lover of Madoka. People called me unhinged for saying that Homura is the Oedipus and she is trying to kill Walpurgis in order to bed the mother, which is Madoka. Again, this is not my fault. These are what evidences lead to, and this is the mind of Akio Kishimbo. It is all his fault. So yeah, if I see any of y'all haters trying to analyze Oedipus parallels to Homura in like 2 months, I will beat you up. Also, I just remembered I missed something about Dionysius Ibaka. Is that the guy I talked about, how pomegranate grows out of his blood? He is also the responsible for the god of theater. Now you might ask yourself, isn't theater more so Walpurgis? Well, that is an hour video in itself, so later. So now finally back on topic, Saint Walpurgis versus Walpurgisnacht. So Walpurgis is a day that has two sides to it. It used to be a hexac night, and it used to be the night which the witches gathered, the Satan turned into a goat, and they all had orgies. Which again, it is not my problem that Akio Kishimbo depicted 14-year-old magical girls having orgy in the sky, but I don't know what to say. But it is also the other side of it is the Mayday. Look up more about the Walpurgisnacht on Tumblr or something, because it has been discussed a lot. Everyone knew about the night, but not how it is related to Saint Walpurgis. Now, Walpurgis the Saint, it is the other side of the coin, which she is canonized on May 1st on the equinox of spring. And equinox of spring is the day which after it, which on the exact date, the sun and the moon spend the exact amount of time in the sky. And after it, the sun gets stronger, which is why in every timeline, because it was the equinox of spring, Homura simply couldn't defeat Walpurgis because Madoka tended to become more powerful. I will talk about how this is relevant to the she that she wished for, or the what I wish. I don't remember the exact quotes. I will talk about it later. So the other interesting thing I saw is that on 25th February she died, and that was the day that they also celebrated. And if you remember, they were going to release the movie on in February, which I believe they intended it to end on 25th February, but they just couldn't do it. So they pushed it forward to the 828, which is Gote's birthday, and also 828, infinity to infinity. This is also a reference to Haruhi Suzumiya, because Haruhi Suzumiya has an Infinity 8 arc, and Haruhi itself it means spring fire. So very related to Madoka, which is the goddess, which in the opening of Rebellion, the opening song, you saw with every touch, she turned the desert of the desert god Set, which is Homura, into spring. Now here you can see the balloons and the "you're not the clown, you're the entire circus nacht." And the other thing that I saw, I was very pleased with. Here, read it on the page, on the screen. Dayani Sasibaka is named again, and he's the one who does the theater and the May festival back in Floralia before it became the May Day. So I'm very pleased to see these two are related. So pomegranate theory confirmed. So Dayani Sasibaka, other than being the theater, is also the god of related to freedom, which relates back to the quote, "Do you prefer the world order, Madoka, or do you prefer desire?" I ain't got time, so I will talk about that later. But the other thing Mayday is related to is the wreath. And the wreath is something holy made for the Christmas. And why I wanted to bring this is because I will talk about these parts later. But what I wanted to talk about is it is a ring. And the other ring is Ouroboros. Ouroboros is the ring of Homura, and wreath is the ring of Walpurgisnacht. And obviously these two are trying to compete to be the one who fits the Mobius strip with Madoka, which has caused these several time reversals we have had once and again and again. But now, notice how Walpurgisnacht and Walpurgis Day are like two sides of the same coin. Well, we had bonus, and guess what? When a night is reversed and turns into the day, it becomes the May Day. So, Walpurgisnacht, which has been the amalgamation of despair, is now going to be the saint which saves magical girls by the end of this movie. Thanks again to Yaoi Butthole for saying that Walpurgis is written as the Saint Walpurgis in the Walpurgis no Kaiten. The symbolism of wreath has also been used on funerals for the wreath became the symbol of purity, because these 14-year-olds, when they die, they obviously are virgins. But you're seeing right here, it looks like an infinity sign. And I am once again seeing Dayani Sasibaka at the bottom of the page. Nah, this is something I just discovered and have no time to research. I'm so sorry. The movie is coming out like in 14 hours. Now back to the trailer. This is on the bridge, Saika Half Moon fighting something. I believe this to be the declaration of war from Sayaka to the real Homura, and this is the day. This is the night before they rendezvous the place of Doppel Homura. Yeah, this is the Wraith fighting the brown-haired girl. Anata no Yami, Anata no Kage, again referencing the Doppel. And there's another line being said here. Listen very carefully. Anata sai kiereba. Nobody talks about this because nobody has the third eye like me. But this is the most important sign of the entire trailers up until now. Well, you might wonder, why is that? Well, look here. They're talking to Madoka, these two, and the feather eye. Now, let's go here. So, Anata sai kiereba, all fans assume to be hinted at Homura because they won't exonerate her. But I posit that they are talking to Madoka. They are saying Madoka should disappear, and here is the proof. Again, same scene, and what happens? Two people speak to Madoka, and Madoka has disappeared. The chalk lining, a missing person. And here is, no, it's better to talk about. So the two trailers parallel and very obviously say that the disappearance is going to happen to Madoka, which is also parallel to disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. And notice the feathers are in a gale, which is the rise of Walpurgis. And the thing that surprised me the most is here. I did not expect the magical girls to be so stupid as to let the Selma and Green Ho inside their base. Basically, where you are seeing this pole dancing and underground purple thing, that is their base of operation. The base of operation of Kyoko, Nagisa, and Mami, and Sayaka. And this is the evening of the third day where they are rendezvousing before attacking the Homura base. And basically, since they are here, it means that the brainwash was completed. Walpurgis brainwash Sayaka, and Kuma with her suite have brainwashed the other three. And one thing people don't notice is that the color of the airplane lights differ. The red ones represent obviously Doppel Homura observing them, and most of these plane scenes happen, I believe, at the second night. Also, pole dancing is just revolving around a single line. Revolution is the most important concept borrowed from Utena in this movie. Obviously, the Watashi ga Shiranai Mahou Shoujo refers to the John Magical Walpurgis. It does not refer to Doppel Homura, because Doppel Homura is simply calling Homura every day and trolling her. So she does know about Doppel Homura. And this scene is right after the Lizard-kun has impregnated Homura. I did not use that word lightly. People ridiculed me for using it. But you are seeing it is called Lizard-kun. It is simply shown as male. What is the purpose? To impregnate Homura. It's not my fault they are showing pole dancing 14-year-olds. Again, purple to yellow, 8 to 8. Go watch the short. These people thought to be Walpurgisnacht. She is not. She has the attire, but it's the Doppel. Here's why. People even brought the leak content of spoilers, Wasu. They are showing these materials to you. It is in the concept movie. They expected you to find it out and unblur it. You really thought they would not assume the fan base with this much dedication could not unblur scene? So Wasu is the red herring. It is Wasu not because it is Walpurgisu shortened, but because Doppel Homura is on the way to becoming Walpurgis in movie 6. So she is child Walpurgis now. And people said she has no soldier. Why? It is because she is the Doppel. The soul gem is on Homura. Flower symbolism in the back, I don't have time. The queen depicting a heart in middle of it. Yeah, Queen Homura, and also, let's see if I have time for this. You remember in how in my previous movie I said that I have 5 secret references that movie 4 makes? Well, the one I didn't name and let for later was Alice in Wonderland. Basically, if you go back to concept movie, you will see Madoka looking down a hole, rabbit hole. And it is Madoka following the Shiro Usagi, the white rabbit who pounds the moon, and also the white rabbit in Alice, and follows it down. And I don't have time to explain it all. There's a tea party with a time stopped, obviously, reference. And at the end, the Queen of Heart demands everyone's execution. What happens at the end of movie 4? Bloodbath. And at the end, Alice becomes big. Alice becomes broken. Becomes, well done, Kriemhild Gretchen. It becomes bigger than the world itself and drops the despair of world upon the earth. And the sister the Alice wakes up to talk to is obviously Walpurgisnacht and Madoka talking to each other. I am patenting this. I'm patenting all theories. I don't have time to explain them all in detail, so I hope nobody goes out there just off the base I'm putting in and tries to extrapolate upon it and say that, oh yeah, I was the one who came up with the theory. No, it was karma. It is karma. It will always be karma. I was so fucking pissed off when in subreddit, the same people who ostracized me and laughed at me, they started talking about the marriage of Odile and Odette. Like, you are stealing my theories. Well, anyway, Doppel Homura opens the umbrella and the pomegranate of the tomatoes being broken. This is directly, now that there's only one day left, if you go to day 3 or 4, I think, Madoka is sitting at the table. This is Madoka. This is the table. And she has a pomegranate in front of her. So this crushing hand is definitely Madoka. Even if I didn't have proof before, I now have. So yeah, this is her rejecting her law of cycle because she has a promise with Homura. Next trailer, I will talk about that. Revolving Kuru Kuru and the sign of a galaxy. So it is going to be rewritten, and the diamond in the middle is what the shape of the arrow. An arrow, when it is shot, it looks like that. And it is also related to Madoka. If you go a little bit back, you will see that the arrow hits them in a cross shape. Now, and at the end, you are saying 828 with a fucking galaxy in middle of Doppel Homura's face. Okay, now that I'm seeing this trailer, I cannot escape spoiling the first 5 minutes of the movie. Not because I want to spoil it, but because what I had analyzed actually predicted the first 5 minutes of the movie. So in order to explain this, I just have to go on. So from now on, if you don't want to listen to the first 5 minutes of the movie, jump off. But like, you have been listening to the whole 2 hours of the movie, but analyzed by me. So this is a lizard on a diamond with a phone, rotary phone under it, and a gyroscope under it. What does the gyroscope do? And a gyrozeppeli is used to maintain orientation and angular velocity, rotation, kuru kuru kururin. Yeah, and in navigation, it is used to maintain stability, maintaining the karma of the world. Am I the fucking genius for predicting this back in February? This is also very fitting because, as I had predicted, the Archimedes screws. Archimedes is a mathematician. Gyroscope is very much related to mathematics and whatever Archimedes did. The promise between me and Madoka, watashi no Madoka no yakusoku. I will explain this a bit later. Madoka, who is concerned about, obviously, Homura. The childhood student is very obviously Homura, because Homura originally did not belong to Sao Tome Sensei's classes. She was in the hospital. But some might argue it is the brown-haired girl. I don't think so. And as you can see, this scene is very much edited. Like if you go to previous trailers, the left side was from another scene. So these two definitely are not walking together. This is just an optical illusion. I fucking hate mommy. I wish she was dead. But yeah, balloons I will explain later. Also, look at how the knot on the balloons are rotated around it. It is the simple rotary kind of knot instead of the more complex balloon knots that the balloonists do. Also, I find it very sweet that Homura considers herself as the childhood friend of Sayaka. By the way, she has the ability to manipulate memories if you are too out of the ordinary and you don't know what is happening. So she has instilled into the world that she is the childhood friend of Sayaka. Okay, remember yakusoku, and this is the line watashi to Madoka no shūchaku. Now, shunen was something that was denied from Homura in Rebellion. When Sayaka spoke of what made her soul gem black, shunen was definitely banned. So this line, although from the voice of Homura, is not from Homura. Definitely Walpurgis. This is simply base level writing implication by contrasting the first sentence and this one. Also, the rope is very obviously a theater veil. Well, at least metaphorically, and you will see now why. The brown-haired girl is trying to unveil the theater. Madoka starts with prelude to Faustus and the veils coming up. So yeah, this is the thing that keeps happening. Every movie starts with a veil coming up. The girl now has glasses, is tiptoeing and going around, dancing, which is obviously Madoka's technique. In concept movie, Madoka simply in Rebellion says that she really doesn't think of herself highly because she doesn't really have any talents. I believe it was the scene with Homura at the white flower scenery, and this is why Homura in Kaiten sends her into ballet, because finally Madoka has a talent. In other words, a raison d'être, which is very sweet under writing, under, what am I saying? Deep writing. This is the wraith that Homura has unleashed in order to just stop this green hoe, now brown hoe, from going to heaven. And a girl who is a magical girl transforming and fighting. People keep saying and that this is obviously the brown haired. I think this is not. Well, it actually is, but it is not a brown-haired girl in her brown-haired form. Basically, when the brown-haired girl jumps into the cloud from the building, she transforms into Walpurgis formless person, so she can turn into anyone, because wraiths inherently can transform into other magical girls appearance-wise. Because guess what? Wraiths are the entropy tax of the law of cycle. Let me explain better. Wraiths, when law of cycle took away witches, you would think that witches, since they were the source of despair that the magical girls fought, that technically if they were removed there shouldn't be any despair in this world. Well, the thing is that not only normal people despair, but also there is always the line that kibo to zetsubo to they are the same, and the same is wrong, because the overarching thing of Madoka is entropy. Despair is always a little bit higher than the hope. Because if it wasn't entropy, the end of the world, the absolute despair would not have happened. So what Sayaka, this is a narration fallacy, the unreliable narrator, because we hear from the narrator that the hope and despair are equal, and to gain hope you have to give equal despair. No, you have to give equal despair plus a surplus amount, and the wraith are the surplus amount of law of cycle, which is Walpurgis plus Madoka, which is something that can turn into anything. So that is why they have the same capabilities but on a much lower scale. So this is why they can turn into other things. So okay, it is time to jump on this. I can no longer avoid it. A shot of the lizard for under a blanket. We saw it. Narrator two girls. Himitsu, known to no one. Or rather, I believe it to be Naisho. A mysterious rumor passed only among the girls of Mitakihara. And Uwasa. Uwasa is a fucking thing from a TV series. People, again, before you click out of it, Doppel, Uwasa, they are movie one shit. Magi Record stole them. Uwasa is from first movie because you see Walpurgis rumoring her existence around. Everyone knows, mommy knows, Kyoko knows, and you see the poster all over the Homura's room. So passing around the poster in Madoka is direct related to Uwasa. And what is Uwasa? It's a prophecy. And if enough people believe in a prophecy, it becomes the reality. If you don't know Madoka, at least you go read Chojin X. And on your way home along dusk, perhaps cold rainy night, at the boundary between light and darkness, Kanata. I will talk about Yuki Kaji's Kanata later, but she's referencing this. If you find a little phone, it is the lizard phone. Remember how I said it is a phone kiosk that goes down into the Nazuka Sokotsune? I was not ass pulling that. I had actually put big brain moments in that. 6767. But yeah, Nazuka Sokotsune is directly led by the Doppelhomura. Although she has not access to the full information, she very well knows of the place and has made a shortcut into it. Remember the lizard with the construction hat and the phone above it? A shot of the heart-shaped soul gem, Doppel of love. Before getting back to the lizard phone, the ringing is getting louder. Tell the lizard on the other end, I wish you could never tell anyone else. Naisho. 危険と責任を引き受けられる。この世の呪いと戦える。It is a first trailer, first moment, Doppelhomura atop the lizard talking this. And your wish will be granted in return. What people confused is that when they saw this, they thought that Doppelhomura is now the contractor and she's contracting people. No. Doppelhomura cannot do that. She can only lead you to do that. The one who has to do the wish bidding is Kyubei. That is the wish granting vessel, and Kyubei is under Homura, real Homura. Doppelhomura cannot do shit with Kyubei. And if Doppelhomura herself could do the contract, obviously she would use all the girls and just pump out wish after wish after wish to fuck with Homura. So what she's offering right now is not the wish granted at the exact second. What she's doing is that I will make you a magical girl with no soul gem, because there's still no wish. She's just granting the power to the brown-haired girl. And the wish only comes at the end when the karma of the world is granted to her, prized to her by Kyubei when she makes the wish to be eternally with Madoka. And then a little while, fairy will bring you karma. Yeah. So, but it is a naisho. A naisho you must never tell the adults. This is significant. Why? In Utana, they called people who did not graduate the non-adults, basically every high schooler. And to sotsugyou suru was the end goal, to fall out of the bounds of the high school, to be freed. So a secret you must never tell adults shows that these people are still stuck in the middle school of Mitakihara, also known as the I forgot the name to the Otori Gakuen, the Otori, or the boys. But the boys are basically the Akio. But did you know the truth about the lizard is actually the blanket is lifted, basically the veil of the theater, a hand is reached on the lizard phone, and the phone melito instantly. The same shot of a heart-shaped soul gem pulsing multiple times. This is basically like those gold finding things that make beep 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 sound the closer they get to the actual vessel. So what happens? Take a second, pause the video, read the entire things if you have never seen this before. I will explain it in a second. So in the next scene we have Homura. What this is written by someone who has seen the first 5 minutes. What they mean by Homura, a devil, is they have seen the doppel Homura and think it is Homura. Time stops or resumes, I don't know, but the shield sound, blah blah blah, and the red strings of fate with triangle flags. Well, triangle flags are both the Mayday as you saw before, the balloons picture, but on the flag are with lizard symbols. Let me tell you this, Homura is not still Walpurgis, but as I said, in 2022 Homura has been Walpurgis once before. Yeah, this is basically a kidnapping scene, this part. The brown-haired girl is just a normal girl with some who has the capability to become the next vessel of Walpurgis, but still is not there. So the scene now takes place on a skyscraper roof. Trailer girl moves towards the edge. It is the famous first trailer scene of who we used to think Madoka jumping off the building. And as soon as it starts ringing, she picks up the phone. It goes back and forth between Doppel Homura and this brown-haired girl. Would you care to divide your bones with me? That is quite the line, and that is because teeth are the only bones that are outside of your body on a daily basis, and not when you have like broken your leg so fucked up the bone has come out of your flesh or something. I will talk about bones a little bit later, because in the trailer you also see Sayaka with a bony hand. Excuse me, what can I do for you? Sekai o kakme suru chikara o. You have found this telephone, then you know about the Naisho Pact, don't you? Please give me the courage to protect the things that are important to me. Courage is basically very much related to Madoka. She is indirectly asking, please give me Madoka. You sure, Kikento Sekinin? Yes, you must never forgive the yakusoku we made here. There's a yakusoku between Madoka and real Homura. There's a shuchaku, and there's a yakusoku between brown-haired girl and Doppel Homura. Because as I said before, Doppel of Homura, Doppel of Despair, in TV series used to be inside Walpurgis as the half moon inside the Kriemhild Gretchen full form. Homura, you fucking asshole two-timer bitch. Consciously you want to be with Madoka, and you subconsciously want to be with Walpurgis. I'll never forget. It is the line also Homura said when Madoka disappeared. Wasurenai. What you must do, my suffering, things you can't accept, I alone will never forgive them. Notice how Homura completed the sentence. Time stops or blah 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 blah. At the rooftop falls in the mouth of Wraith. Okay, let me tell you what is actually happening in this trailer. There is a hidden plot going underground. This is not a simple contract. This is a case of kidnapping and forcing someone. Doppel Homura has the same powers of Homura. Homura has the powers to change memory. So Doppel Homura fucking kidnapped a random child that has the personality enough to be a vessel of Walpurgis, and then gave her false memory of being bullied. Which is why she is now speaking in tandem with the trailer girl, John Magica. Because she is putting those words in her mouth. Now it is time to expand upon the double intentions I already talked about in part 1, but now I have to expand a bit more. Double Homura is based upon the she that I wished for. When we go into the original wish of Homura, now look very closely at the wording. I want to redo my meeting with Kaname-san. But instead of being protected by her, this time I want to protect her. Now, when you're making a deal with Cube, you have to be really fucking sure of your word choices. Notice how it has no end anywhere. Basically, by doing a I want to redo but not specifying how many times, you have created an infinite loop, which is why Homura can return back in time. And this is very fucked because look at this. Any time that Madoka is not protected, obviously the timeline resets. And this is easily great wish, you would think. But there's a second part to this. Instead of being protected, I want to protect. Which means even if Madoka is protected, Homura still wants to be the one who is playing hero. So if Sayaka goes and fucking saves Madoka, timeline still resets because it has to be Homura who saves fucking Madoka. Absolutely dog shit wish, and I will explain more. This is with a very shit because Gen Urobuchi is a very specific writer in the word choice when it comes to showing the psychology of the character. Homura could have fucking wished to revive Madoka, to simply save Madoka after Walpurgis have gone. Why did she wish to redo it? It is because Homura, in her fucked up psychology, wants to, first of all, play the hero who saves, and 2, wants to be Madoka. I want hands like you, like you. Have you seen that creepy song? Yeah, that's what Homura wants to be. Notice how Madoka, I said in previous video, has 15 images behind her in the scene where she's looking at her phone. Madoka always has had 15 behind her, with her own becoming 16. But Homura didn't have that. Homura fucking copied that from Madoka, stole it and turned it into the concept of Clara dolls. And now Homura with 15 Clara dolls, Madoka with 15 Clara dolls, it becomes 16, 16, 32. Two 32s together, it becomes 64. 64 was the number engraved by diamonds upon the marriage rings of Walpurgis and Madoka. 2 wedding rings together becomes a Mobius strip. Now Madoka's wish. I wish to erase all witches from existence before they are even born. Every witch in the universe, from the past to fucking advertisements, from past, with my own hands, erase all witches. So as we saw, the witch included also herself. So this is a circled wish that starts from the Madoka seeing Walpurgis and fallen Homura in a dream, and ends with Madoka doing it exactly. So that is the circle of Madoka, which is why it's called Enkan no Kotowari, law of cycle, also known as rulership of the circle. Also known, circle is known as Madoka, so rulership of Madoka, which is why in the trailer they call her the Enkan no Kotowari as both the place where the bitches go and also the name of the ruler of it. But there's another thing. Notice how the wish to save Madoka, a wish that is based on saving a single person, and Madoka's wish to save everyone but herself are paradoxical. So you might wonder, how does 2 paradoxical wishes work? Well, it is based on the karma amount you have. The one who has the higher karma undoes the wish of the other. Now,
I'm going to reveal Devil Homura. Let's go back to Uwasa. Why is Uwasa important? Why is sharing rumors around about yourself important? Because it makes you fall into the mouth of everyone. That makes you more important. That makes you have more karma. In Rebellion, Homura around the entire fake Mitakira city was sharing papers of her own existence. The show of Homolili. This just gave her massive karma boost, and then at the choke point of the Mobius strip, look what I'm calling it, a choke point. Madoka, the Elon Musk of the karma, comes down to save Homura. In that exact second, when you have the one having the biggest stock, karma stock of the entire universe from all parallel universes, saving all magical girls, coming to save you specifically, at that 1 second, Homura had more karma than Madoka. Love was not the one thing that made Homura be able to split Madoka apart. It was the karma stocks. And it has now been deciphered and revealed to public by Karma no Kaiten. Now, ladies, don't wet your panties. I know I'm very sexy, but I have still more to talk about. So this theory, with how big it was, it is an A rank on my 46 Madoka theories, which have 4 S rank theories. And since everyone was so kind last time to hate on my video, dislike it, put $0 in my coffee, I'm going to do it like this. From now on, I'm going to put my PayPal in the description, and every $400 I get, I will reveal one of these. Or 4 if they are short. In exactly 2 weeks time frame from each time I hit a $400 amount. So if some daddy pulls out like $1,200 straight into my PayPal, you will have 3 fucking videos by 2 months, which each of them will change the whole fandom. But yeah, back to Devil Homura. Basically, the rainbow circle that was Madoka at the choke point of Mobius strip was pulled by Homura inside the circle of Ouroboros. 2 snakes that eat each other, Homura and Doppel Homura. The thing with Mobius strip is that when the upper side of the circle comes down in a 3D format, it also reverses. Inverses, sorry. Which fucking means the second that John Magica makes the wish, the Bona inverts it. It inverts back into the wreath circle, and the marriage between Madoka and Walpurgis is finished. And then people kept asking me how I predicted this movie. I'm just 20 steps ahead of the entire fan base. I still have more to say about Devil Homura and this process, but I obviously have to leave it for later. But now let's go back into what Doppel Homura has to do. So Doppel Homura, now knowing the flow of the karma, desires to make a fake Walpurgis vessel and then to share around Uwasas of her making contracts and make this girl popular enough so that she becomes the new choke point of karma of the entire world. And as I predicted in part 1, at the exact second she's in the library, she has the Jeff Bezos of karma, Homura, down in the basement chasing her by being a fake Madoka. And in the overworld, the entire Greenhow, Selma, and the Magia Quintet are fighting for the sake of this battle. So in that exact second is the exact second which she can wish to Kyubey to be the new choke point of the entire world. Now, childbirth. Well, this thing that Oyuki dropped, read the last line. This was not available on when I was making this theory, but this just proves it. She just spoiled it. The egg that shouldn't hatch, that is a very specific wording because the egg 卵の殻を破らねば生まれずに死んでゆく。世界は卵。我らがヒナだ。世界を革命するために。Basically, Madoka, by being the sweet girl in the first 3 days and not fucking up Greenho and Selma Teresa, actually aids them in the act of egg of the John Magica, the brown-haired girl. So when the brown-haired girl jumps inside the wraith in the first 5 minutes, she's basically jumping inside the womb of Walpurgis to be born as a big kid. Big is also broken, is also, you guessed it, cream-hilled Gretchen. This is what I meant by childbirth. A small seed, a grief seed that grows into a full-on infant. Okay, now I have to speedrun this shit before it is finished, but I mean, the movie comes out tomorrow. I have to finish the editing also. But before I go back to the trailer, I want to say something. Luca Magica, in one of their videos, mentioned Brynhild and explained very well everything, but they identified wrongly. My pal, listen here. You identified that Brynhild sleep amidst a barrier of flame, needs Siegfried to come save her and wake her up from the dream, and you related that to Kaiten. It's rebellion. Brynhild is very clearly Homura, asleep inside her tamago and waiting for Kriemhild to come from her one-sided barrier. Now back to the trailer. Notice how Kyoko is already ready to fight Homura. And notice the skies. The lights are blue, which means that Akuma Homura is not currently watching this. But Kyubei is under her. This, I believe, is the night of the second day, which also afterwards is the fight between Sayaka on the bridge. And also about the bridge, I recently watched Arakawa Under the Bridge, and I believe, since it's the same director, it is the meaning of bonding. And it is the worst thing for Homura because bridge is up upon the water. Under it is the water, so flame. Homura is always attacked by Sayaka with a fire extinguisher, and in rebellion she just stops her stop time, and at the end of Kaiten she is cooled down by the liquid called blood. Also, everyone has talked about it, but if you've not heard it, Akuma de means until the end, but Akuma de means I, the devil, will help you. And QA being there means that the Green Ho and Selma Teresa know that this interaction has happened. Which is why they proposed the plan to rendezvous Homura's place, because that bitch is trying to gaslight this trio and they want to gaslight back. So this scene I saw and people said, oh, this is a change from the trailer one. No, this is not a change. This is a whole different scene. And here's the explanation. This is from the first day, which Homura has to hurriedly run to her throne in order to observe Greenho and others. And the other one we saw that she was in her magical form is the dusk of the second day, and not dusk, and the afternoon. Yeah, it is dusk almost. Of the second day, which she is already in her uniform because she didn't go to the school the morning and just sent a few Clara dolls to observe. So first day, the problem is with finding out Greenho and other Law of Cycle members might exist within her world, and fuck it. And the magical girl's second day problem was the fact that the doppels lost against the duo, Selma Teresa and Greenho, and Madoka has now been led into a stranger's place to stay. So here The translation work of these trailers has been dog shit actually, because here she says Arienai at the end, which means that there is nothing that could possibly threaten me. Can it? Yeah, it is a question that shows much more worry than the translator did. And the translator was dog shit on the Mahou Shoujo Nano trailer too, because it was simply dog shit. We see the dispersing of the news because she's trying to retain the uwasa of herself, but she's obviously losing, and the city is under construction. Now let me talk about the Set, the desert god. The part of it is that Set, as the sand rather than desert, the important part is the sand. When heat gets added to it, Homura literally means frame, you get glasses, you get hourglass, you get the Magi record transformation, which Homura turns fully into glass. But there's another important aspect to it. Fucking sandcastles, ain't it, mate? When you build a sandcastle, literally the new fake Itachiara city, water can simply destroy it and reset it back to zero. Water, green hole. And as you can see in this picture they released, the wing that Homura is shown is the exact one that gets shot by the mummy in the trailer. And these two have different opacities because they cannot no longer be in the same dimension. However, the desert god receiving a lot of water is not exactly a bad thing too, because finally the desert god can be something else other than the Set god. But Homura will remain the underworld queen. And here we see the fall of the dual arena. But if you look at the dual arena staging, the upper part, this part specifically, this really looks like the upper side of the wing of Homura, which makes sense. It is falling apart. The right wing is the one that gets shot. So this in perspective is exactly the right wing of Homura. And this ties into Utena's dueling arena. The dueling arena in Utena had a illusional castle on the top of it reversed. And of course, illusion represents the tarot card of the moon. So as I said before, when Homura falls, when everything reverses, the reverse moon is the disengagement of the illusion. So this ties into God is taught. Basically, as I said in the part about Akemi Devil Homura wish, Homura, through wanting to simply save Madoka, has reached a point of mental diminish that she actually not really cares much about Madoka, but rather more so the heroism. So this is what also happened to Protestants. The Protestants one day woke up and realized that Catholics, the religion they are introducing, is not related to Christianity at all. And that through years of wanting to keep the church, they have bastardized this religion to the point that it is no longer recognizable. So when you care more about the church and heroism than the god itself, the god dies. So the one Homura is saving is actually just the act of saving rather than Madoka who is being saved. Which is why the double of love fucking hates her, because she doesn't love Madoka. She loves the act of loving Madoka. Which is why the two have a divorce in rebellion and the moon is split in half. I will talk about Gottesstadt a bit later, but remember the illusion aspect of it. The Nazca Sokotsune, deep dead root place or something like that. And why is it? It is because it is the root of the Kabbalah tree. And when you look at the library, what is it made of? Books. What is books made of? Papers. What is papers made of? Fucking trees. And obviously what Kyubei is standing on is the torn apart body of Dino Sasibaka. And in other words, the torn apart Rose Bride, which has always been Homura. So the thing about the brown-haired girl is that since her memories are manipulated, she actually has no memories and no personality. To be reborn, to become the childbirth, she receives through the wraiths and the Nazca Sokotsune records of fate itself the memories of all timelines, which is why she can have the glasses and the bow of Homura. It is simply like her battle loot. I don't have time to talk about Kabbalah trick and the Nidog, the serpent that is at the base of it, and how this structure has been reversed in Kaiten, so they need to reverse it back into Kabbalah being at the top and Nidog at the bottom, instead of Nidog being the queen of the world. See the fucking Kyubey dropping is funny as fuck. Okay, recalling back to this, if you look at it, the second frame has the sun a bit higher, which means that I was right. This is the dawn of the fourth day, which is May 1st. Notice how it says known to no one. This is because Nazca Sokotsune are books that can normally not be read. And they added the witch effect to simply show that this. So they are landing on golden things. Why golden things? Because alchemy is the process of turning something silvery into gold. Silver garden. And lead, which is a silver looking color, is turned into gold. And basically the girl, the Doppelhomura, which has the Archimedes screw, is an alchemist. She has to turn this whole world from silver garden into the golden seed of the new world. Also, let me put a perspective on Green Ho and justify her a bit, despite calling her Green Ho this whole time. Imagine you are like a queen to the harem of a big king. And the king receives a letter from the brother one day that he needs help in war affairs, and he should come and save him. And you're like, yeah, it's very good that the war will end, and finally the brother and the king will be together. But then when you wake up, you see that they are trying to handcuff you and throw you to the streets. And that is when you realize, when the king went to the brother just selfishly desired to tear the king in two halves. So I think it is very logical for them to hate Homura to no end. So yeah, these doppels that were like in the fighting ring in the law of cycle are again brought back to Earth and are forced to despair again. So yeah, very understandable. Okay, the powers of Green Ho, I assume, is that the Vira she has two sides. When one side is plugged out, water comes out very fast, and if she rotates it and pulls out the other plug, the water that has been around goes back into the Vira. Or is it Vajra? I don't know. But the thing about Vajra is that the enemy of the one who has the Vajra is... Or is it a Vajra? I don't know. But this weapon is the weapon of Indra, and it has Thunderbolt in it. Thunderbolt because... Yeah, look at the fucking Thunderbolt. Not isn't only Vajra, but it is also a reference to Zeus Rising. So this Indra who has the Vajra kills the great evil called Vritra. Vritra is a personification of Drought. Again, the desert god, who appears as a human-like serpent. It is such a shame I don't have time to analyze mythology in this video. So yeah, this reversing Vajra of her also is related to Bonas. Yeah, obviously, the reversal, the wing shot. These three scenes are happening like at a 90-minute, 80-minute mark of the movie, with 70 being the Kanata theme song. Regarding Kanata itself, when you look at the lyrics, it is about running in a gale towards a better future while holding hands. People think that is Homura's hands, but no, it is Mado and Wasu. I mean Walpurgis, sorry. And yeah, Kanata lyrics, when you look at them, Ato ichido dake. And all the other lines, I looked around and I found it very funny because they have many shared lyrics part with the Fate Zero Kalafina opening. Ato ichido dake kiseki wa okoru daro. And this is Kajura absolutely trolling, because if you go back to that work, which was also again Orochi work, you will see that the lyrics of To the Beginning can very much fit the praying Homura. So the ribbon wrapped around her and in her hair shows that the doppel has already inside her. Not completely yet, because the lizard con has yet to impregnate Homura, but yeah. And here it shows Icarus simply falling after the wing has been heated to the point it has melted. The color theory of red and blue is very intentional, because Homura is now the king of the underworld and the earth simply has turned into hell. So she is red and blue is obviously heaven. Also, if you were to notice each one of the falling of Madoka and Homura, Homura falls counterclockwise and Madoka falls clockwise. One is progressing, the other is being sent back to what she was. I also hate the new facial expressions. Like if this was Rebellion, this facial expression would have hit much harder than just simply moe. Like absolutely AI generated facial expressions. Like, look at this, goddamn. Absolute dog shit facial expressions. Bring back the square Madokas. Yeah, here we see Mommy fighting the spool. People say it is going to be Kitari. No, I don't think Kitari has both birth, mate, and then a fucking spool as a familiar. They are very much clearly fighting the John Magica lower minions. The Kanata theme will probably, as I said, happen 70% onwards into the movie at the third night, which these trio have come back from the labyrinth of Doppel Homura only to realize that Greenho has been deceiving them. Well, except Mommy, which is still Greenho's bitch. This is the second night. Third night coming out of barrier, which is Kyoko having to counter the water of Greenho, which she cannot because Kyoko is fire, Homura is fire. They have elemental disadvantages. We see the broken barrier of the Greenho behind Kyoko, and that is because they are invading the thing to save Madoka, but obviously Sayaka is in front of all of them in terms of speed because she's a fish. Okay, this one is pretty big. So, Bone, you might think that is Sayaka receiving something from Homura? Like, is she borrowing a hand of the Homura? No, actually this is the hand of Sayaka, and this is not only because she was injured by the Doppel Homura, but rather being all skeletal is the final form of the witches of Madoka. Well, the normal ones, not the broken types. This having nothing else but your bones is like the ultimate Buddhist thing of having nothing. It is just one step before being in Nirvana. And let me tell you just now, Sayaka's stocks are going to be fucking high in movie 5. She is going to be the MVP. Like, you might think Homura will do a lot of shit, but Sayaka will be like the what Killua was to the volleyball arc. So now, the torn hands of Sayaka might worry you a bit, but let me remind you of this. Fish have no hands, so this shows that her form is evolving better. Because guess what? She can now use long range hand stuff like Homura did in the fake Mitakirara City of Rebellion. Yeah, Luke and I were discussing this a bit before, but Gertrude literally being the girl that got betrayed by a man, very much a parallel Psycho, which is why in this picture we see a Gertrude minion talking to a injured mermaid. Also, if you look closely, you will see the metal inside the bone. This is the metal in the bone is when you have a bone structure in a medical facility to show other students. Basically, it is bones being barely attached to each other, because you actually need muscles and filaments to keep them together. So when it is all nothing, you have to use metal to keep them together. Which is very ironic because Sayaka became a witch because she hated how zombie-like she looks, but now she's an absolute undead and she's proud of it. And I'm proud of you, Sayaka. Okay, so and this is Nazuka Sokotsune statue thing becoming a man. This is a woman, but it is becoming a man to reach its final form. But it's still woman because it is childbirthing. But after the childbirth, it becomes the male figure, which is Siegfried. Kuru Kuru, red eye, everything. Notice how all of these go either clockwise or counterclockwise. The red staircase is going counterclockwise because Doppel is being returned to Homura. The water, which is green hoe, is going clockwise because they are going forward. This is the alleyway of final negotiation before Homura runs after fake Madoka, and Doppel is appearing here to talk to her for the first time. Not on the phone, but in presence. Okay, can you notice the Black Queen? The call poster... Oh, no. The call poster with a no soul gem attached to it, which means that John Magica is the magical girl with no soul gems. The love bearing the telephone, double of love. The rest are another theory for another day. Especially this one, I have to talk about it a whole lot. So we see the bloody purifying talismans thrown all at the posters of the lizard. And this is the bonfire of Walpurgis, because the bonfires are how people keep themselves from the evil of Walpurgisnacht or Hexennacht, specifically the part where witches have orgies. Okay, read the text part of it and it will imply something. Even though the mo indayo of Madoka is supposed to be hopeful, it comes after the people who held their pride. So they are. It is saying that people who hold their pride should actually be the ones who stop. A person who remains undaunted despite their plight, it goes into Madoka. So we are seeing the Kanata fight, and this is before they reach the green hoe barrier, I believe. Yeah, this is still the water going upside. Also notice how Madoka skutagete, all the different parts of the sounds that have been compiled together as if they are saying the same thing. I believe this to be a misdirection because they want us to believe they are in the same team. But no, I believe, especially Mommy's voice, the part of her is in the audio editing much more spliced faster than the other two. So I believe the one who Mommy is trying to save is not actually Madoka, but rather she believes that the brown-haired girl is in the right. Because she specifically doesn't say Madoka, she just says Skutagete. When people see this quote, they think it's Madoka talking to Homura, but no, this is actually an ironic quote towards Madoka herself. It is okay for you, Madoka, to be saved yourself too. I know Madoka is saying this quote, but it still applies to herself as someone who is so self-sacrificial. We see Homura Catholic school representation, which, as I said, goes into Protestantism of thinking about what happened to God. Is God real? And then going into full-on God is thought enlightenment, and then reverting back into Homura's praying, because the Homura praying shows that Homura has finally loved Madoka, not as a way of playing the hero, but rather Madoka, the person itself, to hold again the Catholicism she had, the absolute belief in God. But this time with actual knowledge of what she is doing. And if you hear the lyrics to this part, Kanata is saying "Teo no basu," which is very ironic, because what is happening in this scene is they are separating the hands, and in the next scene they are holding hands. And this is the hand of Walpurgis, because Madoka's doppel has always been Walpurgis. Well, not exactly, but Walpurgis fits Madoka's doppel the best when it comes to being Kriemhild Gretchen. And what do you see? This hand-holding scene of two bright pink stars in front of Sayaka's face has healed her left eye, which is related to the emotion center of the brain. She is she's seeing something far beyond her emotions. Amidst the despair and of the all witches surrounding her, she is seeing the absolute love, which is why she's making the face of, I have to do something, but holy fuck, is this romantic? Like, this is the face of someone who goes somewhere to do something, but then is surprised by something that they shouldn't do. The face of, was this really what you wanted, Madoka? And the bells of wedding and the bells of death. Bells in church show wedding, birth, I believe, and death. So these marriage bells, they are ringing, and the ringing. Listen what I'm saying. The ring, the circle. This is not a wordplay on my part. They're specifically using this wordplay, which has also been used in Utena, in the more especially the adolescence of Utena. But yeah, these bells in Utena were showing the time and progress of the school, which was actually not progressing at all and only looping. So the final bell can also mean sotsugyo suru, graduation. Yes, as I said before, and now I have more proof of it, since Walpurgis, the saint, is happening at May Day, the time will no longer loop. And this is very significant because the next equinox is the autumn equinox. And you know what happens at autumn equinox? The Higanmana, the flowering of red spider lilies. Flowers anointed to death, which is also why magical girls are becoming more bony by each day. Higan is the Sanskrit term for the other shore. The cycle of death and rebirth is this shore. And in Buddhism, crossing to the other shore is referred to attainment of nirvana. Nirvana is something Madokami has already achieved. So what this is implying is that Homura will also achieve a form of nirvana in movie 5. And since it is the autumn equinox, at that point, exactly what will happen is that the moon will have more time than the sun. The first time in the entire Madoka series, the moon will have more time than sun. Yeah, I already know 80% of what to do with movie 5. Shaft no minatachi, これはエンドだよ。私を雇する NDA. Make me shut up. And otherwise I will analyze movie 5 before you even start producing it. And on that note, I'm not very picky with individuals too. If you want to hire me as a mangaka, as a writer for your manga, if you are an artist who have no idea what to do, or if you want to be like the church was to Michelangelo and just give me money, sure. As I said, PayPal is in the description. So, bells and cupids. This is Walpurgis observing. This is not the Walpurgis itself. It is the memory of Walpurgis, of her memory of her time as Homura in Kaiten, as she is reminding the entire memory of the entire Nazca Sokotsune. Which is when she realizes she kinda did Homura wrong, because Homura was really in love. She finally realizes Homura's love for Madoka. But yeah, it is already too late. She has already married Madoka. This is the eye she wished for. And it flashback is into Madoka's first appearance. And this is very important because each each magical girl first in TV series, each witch that they encountered represented them very much, because Sayaka met Gertrude, and Gertrude was the one who was betrayed by a man who cheated on her. So yeah, Kyosuke. And this witch of painting, which I believe to be related to Catholicism too, is the first witch Homura saw in the first timeline. And if you notice the directorial choices of this trailer, it is simply in memory of Madoka. They are treating it as if Madoka is already dead, because she technically is, and only there's a very small spot in heaven which only Homura can pass through. Only Homura. You will see later in this Antadake, said by Sayaka. And yeah, I should not spoil movie 5. Yeah, Antadake. And this is the praying, because Homura is no longer in her God is thought phase, because as Hegel says on God is thought, God is dead is not to be seen as anything but easily recognized part of the usual Christian cycle of redemption. Basically, you believe God is dead, you question the God, but then you re-reach the God. After Buddha was dead, his shadow was still shown for centuries in a cave, allegory of cave from Plato. God is dead, but given the way of man, we still have to vanquish his shadow too. Basically, Homura split Madoka apart, but she still had to fight the shadow, the animus of Madoka, which is technically Walpurgis, which she lost to. Now the complete quote of God is dead. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderer of all murderers? What was holiest and mightiest of all the world has yet owned, has bled to death under our knives. Who will wipe this blood off us? What water is there to clean ourselves? What festival of atonement, what sacred games shall we play to invent? It is not the greatness of this deed too great for us? Must we ourselves not become God simply to appear worthy of it? Do I need to even talk about water and bloodbath? Yeah, just use your own reading comprehension. I'm back to trailer. You see the line, me that she wished for, under it, the voice is saying, even if it means rebelling against the miracle. As I said before, the karma point of the world is that the one who has the more karma, in a paradoxical wish of two people, it gets to be the real one with the wish, and the one who has lesser karma will be ignored. So rebelling against miracles means that Homura in movie 5 has to gain more karma points in order to again revert the Walpurgis wish of being forever with Madoka. Walpurgis's wish, to be specific, I've only been vague about it until now, is probably I and all the magical girls will reside in heaven, and all our despair will fall upon humanity. It is an all-serving whole wish, just like Madoka's wish to save everyone, but this time she just throws this despair upon the earth. Also, yeah, the praying scene is like 105 minutes in after Homura has been impregnated by the lizard-kun. Notice how Madoka's arrow is blooming into a flower and then a diamond. and then a tree. This is still flashback to TV series, but I only noticed it now. The top looks like a tree, and the bottom of the tree, if we go down, is the Walpurgis sunflower shaped thing. That is because the sunflower shaped thing is the technically, if you look at it, if we go down, it is the root of the tree. Basically, Walpurgis has always been Nazca Sokotsune. Because guess what? Walpurgis has appeared through all ages, not only the TV series. They have had to dealt with this absolute circus multiple times. So she, of course, being the amalgamation of the double of every magical girl of each period, knows everything. This is why I love Walpurgis, because she's a troll like me. She appears once every 2 centuries, knows everything, dumps despair upon everyone, and then fucking leaves for another year. That is myself insert in this movie. Also, another thing about Kanata is that the Misterioso, also the lyrics start with Kanata e kimi no te o tori. So whatever Kanata's lyrics end up being are actually probably both a parallel to Misterioso, and also Kajura, being the absolute chaotic composer she is, I love her, will probably also make fun of Misterioso. Now onto the nante toashi. Well, Street's been telling me that this is Maya Sakamoto, which makes perfect sense. You have Oshino Shinobu, a voice actor who has proven that she can voice a character throughout ages, and shown a very diverse way of voice acting to be the amalgamation of all magical girls, because Walpurgis will need many voices. But also, Nante Towashi means more so how beloved. As I said, the translation has been shit on these trailers. But beloved is a very specific word, because the theme of movie 4 is love. So Walpurgis, having remembered the memory of entire Nazca Sokotsune, finally sees how beloved Homura's love towards Madoka is. And she clowns on it. I'm being stricken with absolute dementia, so I don't know if I said this already or not, but lightning is the new element added to, similar to how Madoka is the only plant user, the new brown-haired girl is the only lightning user. Because to have lightning, you have to have the clouds, which are just water evaporation, so water and air, and then there has to be ionization in middle of them, so fire, and then they need a charge difference with earth. So the new lightning is the absolute form of Walpurgis. I'm gonna say the scenes I think I know. 10th day is the one with the second day when they are fighting the Clara doll Homura sent to observe Madoka in order to buy time. 7th day is obviously Kyoko after the barrier of bitch Homura, double Homura. 5th day is the Akumade. 4th day is the pomegranate, and she's offering it to someone, which means at first Madoka wants to accept the law of cycleness again, but then she decides not to. The most important one, although, is the third one. The third one is the Homura's declaration of hell rulership after Saika encourages her that you are the only one who can do this. Also, 6 parallels of course, the rebellion scene of Saika stopping the stop time. But for the 3, the announcement is going to be, I've come to make an announcement. Walpurgisnacht is a bitch-ass motherfucker. She fucking bled on my fucking wife. That's right. She took his soul gem and it was this big. And I said, that's disgusting. So I'm making a call-out post on my Uwasa forum. Walpurgisnacht, you got a small-sized soul gem. It's the size of this walnut, except way smaller. And guess what? Here's what my soul gem looks like. That's right, baby. All crowns. No despair, no obsession. Look at that. It just looks like two doubles and one snake. She stole my wife, so guess what? I'm going to fuck the ass. That's right, this is what you get. My super laser bleeding. Except I'm not gonna bleed on Earth. I'm gonna go higher. I'm bleeding on the moon. How do you like that, Saotome Sensei? I bled on the fucking sun. You idiot. You have 23 hours before the blood droplets hit the fucking earth. Now get out of my fucking sight before I bleed on you too. That time of month, eh? Also, I looked at my notes to see if I missed something, and remember the desert cut? So, remember how in 22 I said that the lizard is each time shedding skin? So, when you shed skin, that shedded skin slowly decomposes back into a dust-like figure. So, the desert of Homura is actually just a bunch of dead lizard skins. Now here's the final important thing I wanted to say. Lately I've been searching the undergrounds for the best mangakas I can find, and the underground hold better mangakas than the ones published in Shonen Jump right now. So I'm here to recommend you to someone whose symbology actually transcends Madoka. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but it actually has happened. And I just cannot believe their level of work. It is insane. Like, I'm an egoist. I always thought I was the best mangaka ever, but I've been beaten. And I read a one-shot and I felt like this Homura defeated. So here's the ID. Like, oh my god, look at this artwork. Look at this symbolism. Like, the first manga I saw from them was from when I was searching around, looking back in the Medibank old list of mangas, and I was really impressed like such a manga exists in the underground. And then I looked, it's a manga from 10 years ago nearly. So I was really impressed with it, and I just became curious and went ahead and found the artist, and I'm really happy that the artist hasn't stopped working on manga. But so I went ahead and watched some of their newer mangas, and sadly they are not translated, and I asked them why is that the case, and they said they simply don't have an international audience. So I'm using this platform to shout them out. And these are not just random patterns. After asking them, they are the person who made me interested in the Iranian mythology. So yeah, I'm depending on you all for me to be able to read a translation of this one day. Absolutely insane artist. And the link to their Instagram will be in the description. But don't let great artists make you forget that $400 to my PayPal means a video in 2 weeks. It is a tragedy that an analyst and artist of my scale has to flip burgers for the better part of the day only to make amends because AI has fucked me. And let it end with Der erste Walpurgisnacht. The first Walpurgisnacht, a poem by Goethe, which was turned into a music by Felix Mendelssohn. Das steht, let me not read German, I don't know German. Bad weather transition to spring. May is in full bloom. Could you be so rash, so daring, whoever fears to sacrifice? Divide your forces, valiant men. Christians and their priests are witless. Come with prongs and pitchforks. It's come so far that now by night, help, oh help me, comrade. The flame cleanses itself of smoke. This has been Karma no Kaiten. Walpurgis is now Johann Goethe and writing the story. And I wish you all a great day. The prediction series is now over. Until I drop the prediction to movie 5. Now let us all move to O Haranai Hajimarie Hontou no Warie